Dave Malkoff has more.
Well, if you're a NASA scientist looking to study all the rain all over the planet, then Seattle's probably a good place to start.
Seattle's a good place to go, but an even better place to go is the Olympic Peninsula.
But the only way to get there to set up NASA-approved weather stations...
Here's all our stuff.
...is by mule?
Because it's a wilderness area, we can't, helicopter in just because we feel like it.
It's a 15-mile hike with heavy radar and solar panels.
And the mules had to carry all the equipment.
With the ground station set up, a NASA study called Olympex is underway. You see, satellites above the Earth's rain can only see so much as they scan over the Earth one stripe at a time.
Well, you have an idea with models, but they're not always correct.
Yeah, you know, you've got an idea, you make an assumption about what you're seeing.
Suppose you want to know if your backyard's going to flood, you need to know what the storm was doing a day or two before.
With the new ground stations and planes in the air acting as weather satellites that fly inside the storm.
We have one that flies in the clouds itself, and then we go up higher, like above the clouds.
They are now telling scientists for the first time what's truly inside the clouds we see on satellite.
Individual snowflakes and snow pellets and raindrops.
All that data comes flooding back into this Mission Control Center at the University of Washington. When the mission is complete early next year, they will finally have the tools to make a more accurate weather forecast. And it's all thanks to all that heavy gear.
Hi, sweeties.
Carried up a mountain by a mule team. But filling the gap between what you can see from space and what you can see from the ground requires this giant plane from the 1970s that's still flying as an airborne laboratory. We'll take you on board tomorrow. From Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State, I'm Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel. Rising 14,000 feet over Washington State, Mount Rainier does much more than create harvest orange sunrises.
There's a lot of weather going on here in this season.
The mountains we're flying over today help create and guide the weather that impacts a huge section of this country.
This satellite's electric eyes will scan the Earth's cloud cover.
Meteorologists have had weather satellites since the 60s, but
from space we can only achieve a certain quality.
This NASA jet, a retired Italian airliner, is on a mission to make weather forecasting more accurate.
Good morning. We're climbing up to Tree 90 to start the science runs.
This long flight,
planned in about 7 hours,
will take us in loops over the mountainous Olympic Peninsula west of Seattle.
It rains a lot here.
It's like asking the satellite to go over and over our storm.
That's because this plane has the same radar gear on board that modern weather satellites carry.
So if we understand how it comes in, then they can better project how it's going to affect the rest of the country.
A majority of the equipment is actually down in the belly of this jumbo jet where it gets quite cold. In fact, just a few minutes ago, it got so cold down here, they almost had to shut down the whole mission.
We identified the problem, the DCA crew corrected it quickly, and we never got to the point of having to shut things down.
A relief for Dr. Simone Tonelli. He's the lead scientist on board.
Drops on.
This is the drop zone?
In the back, his team is dropping probes into the storm.
Okay, I'm going to drop down.
Down it goes.
Sonar away.
NASA has planes flying in the storm, satellites above, and about 5 dozen ground stations below. The project is called Olympex.
Olympex is about measuring rain in all kinds of ways that it forms.
Comparing what the radar sees up here.
Here we are more exposed to outside.
With the readings from the ground will soon give us all a better understanding of what's truly inside the storm clouds all over our world. Do you ever get used to working in an environment like this?
Yes, actually.
You do? Wow. When the project's complete, they'll take all this information, send it over to the scientists who will hopefully make forecasting the rain a little bit more accurate in the future. From Seattle, Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel.